two guys are and how they want to approach getting things done offensively.
Well, you're right. And, to your point, Martell Hunter might have been the finest football player the Raiders played against all of last season. Man, he could do it all. And, they're kind of looking for that a little bit, but it looked like they probably found, some of answered that to some extent with the speedy sophomore, D. Coleman. Kind of had a coming out party earlier this year against Macomb with a couple kickoff returns for a touchdown, a 76-yard touchdown catch. He's their speedy playmaker. He's the guy that Coach Cannell talked about all week, trying to contain this guy, try to limit the big plays. Hopefully, give him 0 big plays. But if it happens, bring him down. Try to limit these big plays, and make this Titan offense go 12, 15 plays against you.
Pre-game show is brought to you by Zenda Robinson Stormer Cookson Funeral Home in Quincy and Payson. And Kyle, you would think, okay, QND 6-1, qualified for the playoffs last week. Nothing to play for, but that's where the conference comes in. Play for the conference title, go undefeated in the conference, and then you definitely clinch a playoff berth that way by winning the conference. And then you set your sights on, all right, we're going to Florida, we got the long trip, blah, blah, blah. But you got to take care of business tonight, as Coach Cannell mentions in his pregame chat.
Well, you're right. And Coach he mentioned it talked about it last week too in the pregame, talking about there's no guarantee that the Raiders get to play another home game. So there was a lot of work to do to beat Macomb last week to help get one step closer to another home game in the playoffs. And there's still more work to do this week against Monmouth, and certainly next week down south as well. So Raiders, especially with kind of this goofy Week 9 game and this long road trip, probably even more important that you start Week 1 at home and have some sort of normalcy anyway. So tough way in the season, two tough road games, and we'll see if this Raiders team can kind of use these trips as kind of a gearing up for the playoffs.
3-4, as I mentioned, Monmouth Roseville comes into this ballgame, Kyle, and you look at their conference games, and they lose big to Illini West, but they blow out Macomb.
Right.
So, and you're talking about high school kids. So you don't know if 1 week the kids just didn't show up, and then the next week they play Macomb, who they consider a rival, and they thought Macomb was sliding them based on quotes they read in the newspaper. They got a little bit more fired up. We talked about that a little bit last year as well with Martell Hunter on the team last year and a couple other the good athletes they had, multi-sport athletes that the Titans had last year, that sometimes they would show up and other times they wouldn't. Well, it seems that's carried over to this year a little bit as well.
Yeah, you're right. And this is a team not a super heavy senior class. You certainly see it in the roster, but you also see it even they're doing senior night a little bit. Even you look up and down some of their starters, just 3 really that on defense. So, probably a team that's looking for its identity a little bit throughout the year. Here, they've probably found a little bit of a stride here later in the year. But with that kind of transition from having have a 100% go-to man last year, Martell Hunter, to then kind of having redefined itself a little bit this year, took a little bit. Had kind of a tough start to the season, and you mentioned struggling to stay up with Illini West, but seem to have found themselves here a little bit, and they'll be looking to play their best game of the season to keep those playoff hopes alive and try to put one on Q&D, who got them last year here up in Monmouth.
And you talk about Monmouth Roseville's early part of their schedule. They take on Tolono, Unity, and St. Joe Ogden, two of the top 5 teams in Class 3A in the state of Illinois, year in, year out. Doesn't matter which year you want to mention. That's the situation for those two Champaign area schools. But kind of tough for Monmouth Roseville in a transition year to have to play those two teams when you're searching for an identity against two schools that run basically the same offense they learn in 4th grade.
Yeah, and it's right off the bat, too, doesn't make it easy on them, too. So kind of a tough break the schedule rolled out for them. Also lost early to Dixon this year. So they've kind of come together. You mentioned probably their big highlight for them this year was that big win against Macomb, kind of a rivalry game anyway. For Monmouth, if you will. So they're flying high with that. That was kind of a breaking out party, like I noted earlier, for D. Coleman, the speedy sophomore, and they'll try to get another big conference victory here tonight.
And much like QND, the first 2 weeks of the season, Monmouth Roseville delayed their first game against Dixon. They had a long wait and then went out and finished the game. And then I didn't know this until tonight. When they played Tolono Unity over in Tolono, they go over on a Friday night. The storm hits. They get sent home and have to go back the next day and finish the game. And that's not exactly, a half-hour trip between Monmouth and Tolono, so which is right on the outside of Champaign. So basically,
all the Raider fans that are listening here now, they're thanking Coach Cannell. Everyone should say thank you out loud for the Raiders not having to do that in week 2 against Alton Marquette.
Yeah, exactly.
Give Coach Cannell a high five next time you see him.
That was only just a little bit more than 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes a drive. You're talking 6 hours, both Friday and Saturday, there and back from Monmouth to go to Tolono.
Oof.
That's a lot of time in a car, bus, or however folks got to that game to make that trip. So not an easy schedule on paper to play, and certainly didn't turn out that way for Monmouth Roseville the first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, and it even makes things even a little bit tougher when you're talking about a team without a ton of returning seniors, when you're trying to find your identity to start the season. You have these goofy starts like that, playing top-ranked teams, going back and forth across the state twice in a matter of hours almost. So they've come a long way, and this will be a big one. This will be one that they certainly would have circled on their schedule early in the year, and they've come a long way since then.
Monmouth Roseville 3-4, so they would like to try and get the 5 wins and at least give themselves an opportunity to be thought about for the playoffs in 3 weeks. But they have to win tonight, and then they have a tough Week 9 game taking on Monticello, and I think that game is in Monticello. And Monticello, for those who don't know, is outside Decatur, so that's a little bit of a haul as well. I guess maybe about a half hour, 45 minutes shorter than getting to Tolono, but still. And Monticello coached now by Cullen Welter, who used to be at Aledo or Mercer County, whichever you're more familiar with. But Monticello has a very good team, and they handled Macomb quite easily when the Bombers took on Monticello, I believe, in week 3 of this football season. So, this is a big game for Monmouth Roseville, a game they probably think they can compete with QND, and they want to get to those 5 wins and at least have a conversation about the playoffs.
Well, you're right. They'll come in focused. They'll give it the best shot. It'd be a nice. It'd certainly be a nice victory for them to take this conference title and try to keep the Raiders from doing it back-to-back here.
Pre-game show is brought to you by Zender Robinson Storm & Cookson Funeral Home in Quincy and Payson. We'll step aside for 90 seconds and come back and get the thoughts of head coach Bill Cannell as the Raiders and the Titans get set to do battle on this Friday evening. We'll have more in just a few moments here on WTAD.
Funeral service.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table. This is Michael Libman, Financial Service Representative with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Lipman. He makes house calls.
A loved one passes on, and for a moment, time seems to stand still.
My husband was my whole world. We spent so much time together.
Making funeral arrangements is never easy. We can help you create a ceremony with sensitivity, compassion, and respect. Hanson Spear Funeral Home, celebrating a life well lived.
My name is Chuck Brungle, and I'm running to be your Adams County Clerk and Recorder. I've managed Central State Bank for 13 years, which has given me the necessary knowledge to run the clerk's office efficiently. As a qualified and dedicated professional, I will bring professionalism back to the office. And with my integrity and financial business experience, I will improve the overall efficiency of the office, resolve the repeat audit violations from the office, and improve the cohesiveness of every elected official within the courthouse. I'm Chuck Brungle, and I thank you for your vote and support.
42-14 win over Macomb. Always nice to beat the Bombers. Always good to get a homecoming victory. And now you kind of turn your attentions to getting used to being on the road the next couple of weeks and just kind of refining things to get ready for the playoffs.
Well, Tim, we've had some great home games this year. We're going 4-0 on the new field and new turf, and
boost up the level, Tim. Boost it up.
Last home regular season game with a homecoming victory, senior night victory. Going 3-0 in the conference, and earning a playoff spot. Now, I want to emphasize earning a playoff spot because 5 doesn't get you in. I mean, five makes you sit around, and 5 makes you wait.
Tim, your interview is really low.
So,
boost up the level.
We've earned that right. Earned the right tonight to play for the conference championship. Earned the right tonight to work for victory number 7, and. I'm proud of the young men that we were able to make the plays last week to earn victory. And Macomb still obviously had great reasons to play. I mean, they were playing for their playoff lives last week, and they had some fight in them. I mean, Kelly had them prepared, but we made more plays down the stretch and found a way for victory.
Seemed like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they were so keyed on Dalen Anders at the beginning of the ball game that once you guys kind of figured out, okay, they're really spying on Anders, we'll just hit them with Arns and Kinsel up the middle. And once you had success doing that, it kind of freed everything else up.
Well, again, Tim, we're blessed with such great backs, and then we'll bring in Hilgenbrink, and I mean, again, later in the ball game, they got a taste of Nord. Another kid that's been kind of injured, that's probably really the next tailback, is a kid by the last name of Carper. We're blessed. I mean, so if you want to key on Dalen, that's great. I'm sure Kinsel on Arns certainly appreciates the respect that they're given, and they'll be glad to run it for 15 yards a pop against you. So, it's a matter of blocking. The guys up front have been keyed up. They've been focused. They've been, doing what we need to know. They know their blocking schemes. Again, I can't speak enough of the respect I have for Veverlo and running our offense. Getting the snap, running play fakes, getting the ball to our back, and being the leader of the offense out there. And then again, when we do pass the ball, they've been big passes. So teams that want to put 11 guys in the box, we also appreciate that. Get them as close to the line as you can, and we'll make sure that one or two passes that we throw, we'll make sure they're going to be big passes. So, I mean, what it is what it is. I mean, this is Quincy Notre Dame football 2014, and had somebody say, "Gosh, how many plays you got?" I don't know. I mean, my answer to that, I don't know how many we got. Not too many. What it is what it is. But I'll tell you this: people know what they're supposed to do. They believe in it, and they do it pretty well.
You take on a Monmouth Roseville team tonight. You talked about Macomb playing for the playoff lives last week. Monmouth Roseville, not only do they want to deny you having an unbeaten conference record, but they have aspirations for the playoffs, and they sit at 3-4 right now.
Well, for them, this victory is huge because it's a matter of they're in the playoffs or have an opportunity one more week to play for the playoffs or their season's done. And victory for them would give them a part of the conference championship. And for us, we want to be the outright winners. So, our goal every week is to play for a conference championship. So we started many, many weeks ago versus Illini West. I think that was our first conference game, and that night I can remember that week. I mean, that was one of our goals. In order to play for a conference championship, then every week you got to play for that conference championship, not the last one. So we've put ourselves in a position that we're 3-0. So we can go out and earn it tonight. And with victory, you earn that. You earn 7 wins in a row, which I think is huge for these young men in this football program. And, we would head to the state of Florida with an opportunity to secure a home playoff game with victory 8. But you can't get 8 if you don't get 7. So I promise to people that are listening, I haven't talked about 8, won't talk about 8. We've talked about one team and one team only, and that's Monmouth Roseville. And they're a team that has a lot of weapons, and they're much bigger than us, much stronger than what we are. We've got to use our minds and our quickness to make sure that we find a way, again, for victory here tonight.
I know last year with Martell Hunter at running back, this year's offense that you have, playing keep away from him just would make a lot of sense. And you're saying that Monmouth may not have a back that quality, but they're still an explosive team where they can give you problems, and you can't give them more opportunities.
Well, Coach does a great job of coaching his team, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to come in with a great game plan. And tonight we're going to see everything but the kitchen sink, I'm sure. Why not? Every team practices plays that they don't show, and that's just like us. I may tell you our playbook's one play, and it may be, but there's a second page that's got a few plays on it that we practiced, and they're only practiced for one reason, and that's when you need them. So tonight they'll need them. So those plays, we'll see those plays tonight, whether they're reverses, halfback passes, flea flickers, portas. We got to make sure we're ready to go tonight to make sure we can defend those special plays and not let them big plays for them.
Go get them.
Okay, Tim, always an honor. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
That's it, Coach Bill Cadell as QNE gets set to take on Monmouth Roseville. We'll have more in just a few moments here on WTA Day.
Who's got 8 toasty sandwiches ready for your next meal? Domino's Pizza. That's who. If you like chicken, check out our buffalo chicken, chicken habanero,
First,
chicken
take
parm,
2 minutes,
and chicken
please.
bacon ranch sandwiches. The Domino's menu.
It's coming to Quincy, and it's a game changer. Fiber is the fastest technology available, and Adams is bringing fiber to the home. Nothing else compares to fiber, and Adams will be connecting Quincy neighborhoods to this lightning-fast internet and telephone service with no gimmick pricing and local service. Find out how your neighborhood can become a fiberhood. Just take the quick survey at followthefiber.net. Adams, the better and now faster way to connect.
Your State Farm agent, Charles Schultz, can help get you to a better state. From cost to coverage, Charles can develop a plan just for you.
This is Charles Schultz. Call me at 224-6665 or drop by my office next to County Market at 48th and Broadway, and together we'll review your insurance needs.
Around here, people matter, and relationships are built on trust. That's the way it is at Town & Country Bank. Real people who like things simple, honest, and done right. And our roots are right here, so we're truly local. If you already do business with us, then you know how good banking can be. And if you're not, well, maybe you should. Town & Country Bank. You'll like how we do business.
Part of the HNB Bank family.
Federated Insurance is a lot like the family businesses we help protect. For 105 years and counting, Federated has shared the common values that have served our clients well. Federated Insurance, it's our business to protect yours.
Call Tony Reese in Quincy at 223-4623.
Stadium on Sunnydale Lane in Monmouth, Illinois. The Monmouth Roseville Titans taking on the QND Raiders on a blustery October evening. A little bit warmer than it was last year, but just as windy as it was last year, as I recall.
Yeah, no, it looks like everyone out there came prepared, minus the 2 kids in shorts there when we walked into when we drove in. But other than that, I think everyone's going to be okay.
55 degrees is what AccuWeather has for the Monmouth area with a feels-like temperature of 46. This has all the makings of a classic comedy routine to our right now.
As the QNE coaches here get themselves settled in for the to watch the game from above. One crowded press box tonight.
Yeah, get that 7-second delay ready to go for the QND coaches. He knows who he is too. So QND will kick off here to Monmouth. The Titans in navy blue jerseys with navy blue pants, white numbers, navy blue helmets with white logos on either side. QND, of course, in the road white jerseys with blue pants, blue numbers, gold trim, and, of course, golden domes. QND 6-1. Monmouth Roseville comes in with a record of 3-4. Tucker Shepard, D. Coleman, and Charlie Bertelson back to receive the opening kick of this ballgame. They are moving from right to left here in the first quarter are the Titans. QND will kick off from left to right. And Cooper Reese has made the trip. Apparently no soccer games this weekend, so Cooper Reese has it on the tee and looks like he has some wind into his face, Kyle, if I go by the flags on the goalpost to our right.
Well, I'm
thinking it the
yeah,
other way?
I'm seeing it maybe with him and then maybe a little bit from right to left.
The
wind's blowing, folks.
I'll defer
that we know for sure.
I'll defer to your golf course acumen. Reese's kick is a low line drive boot that will skitter past one of the return men and go through the end zone for an automatic touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 Titans from their own 20-yard line. And it will be Josh Weber, the left-hander, who will start at quarterback for Monmouth Roseville. And, Kyle, I'm expecting at least 3 or 4 people in the backfield to touch the ball here tonight.
Yeah, I think they'll try to spin around. I think what what the Titans will probably try to do here tonight, spread it around a little bit and try to set up D. Coleman for some big plays. See if they get him in open field situations, one-on-one situations, and see if he can make some moves in the open field. He's lined up right now by himself, single receiver here on the near side.
Tommy Simpson will be the fullback, and they will give it to Simpson. He'll go right up the middle of the field and twist and turn and get about 3 yards to the 23. Simpson got about 1 yard past the line of scrimmage and met immediate contact. So a short gain for the Titans. And Coach Cannell told me, Kyle, that we'll see a lot of 30 and 31 dives from Monmouth Roseville tonight, getting the ball to Tommy Simpson.
Yeah, and already back to the line of scrimmage here, and Raiders are prepared for it, but we're going to take the time getting the call in here from the coach. But Raiders coming out in a 5-3 to try to stop some of that inside run game.
On 2nd and 7 from the 23. The man goes in motion. They give it to the first man through, and he's out to about the 28-yard line. I believe that was number 40 that time. Wesley Burris getting the carry. He picked up about 5. It's going to bring up 3rd and short for the Titans. 3rd and 2 from about the 28.
Yeah, nice carry there. Such a quick hitter. Kind of caught the linebacker a little bit off guard for QND and was able to drive the pile back there and pick up 4 or 5 yards after contact. Nice run.
So 3rd and about 2 for Monmouth Roseville from their own 28-yard line on the first possession of the game. Josh Weber under center. Turns, gives it to the first man through, and he is stacked up right at the line of scrimmage and pushed backwards. Again, it was Burris. And he may have made it back to the 28, but he got no further than that, and it's 4th and about 2 for the Titans.
Yeah, Brady Miller, I think, was the first one to get him there. So credit QND with the stop on about 3rd and 2 and forcing this punt. So nice job there by QND. 3 and out to start the ball game and force the Titans to punt against this win.
And it looks like Monmouth Roseville is going to try and draw the Raiders off sides. It doesn't work, although Ben Welper did kind of jump forward a little bit, but he didn't get into the neutral zone. And now it looks like Monmouth Roseville is going to call timeout and punt the ball away. So the Titans tried to get the Raiders to jump and give them a cheap first down, but QND does not. Timeout called by Monmouth Roseville before they punt the ball away.
Well, I could understand wanting to draw the Raiders off sides there and try to get that first down, but not so sure it was timeout worthy, if you will.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I might have tried to get my punt team out there and then try to draw them off sides, but.
And, not to be a visiting coach, if you will, Kyle, but I think if the punter runs out there and gets underneath center, I don't think QND would have noticed. So he could have gotten under center, barked a couple times, then backed up and saved them a timeout. But what do I know? I'm just a radio announcer. So.
But you'd have an extra timeout to show for it.
Exactly.
And you might have your team jump off sides, and give yourself a 5-yard penalty. But I agree with you.
D. Coleman will kick it away. He's standing at his own 15-yard line waiting for this snap. So the QND defense forces a 3 and out. And Coleman will punt it away to Raider return men at about the 45, 50-yard line. Here's a snap that's way over the head of Coleman. He goes back, stops it, now picks it up. He's on the run, and he will get to the sideline and run out of bounds. And he will be forced out of bounds near the 10-yard line. It all depends on the spot. And it looks like they're going to put Coleman at the 8-yard line. So a bad snap on the punt, Kyle, gives the Raiders 1st and goal.
Yeah, big break for QND. We've talked about it a couple times this season. The Illini West against West Hancock here, they were able to take advantage of some opportunities when their opponents made, fumbles or made some goofy plays like that.
Right.
So let's see if the Raiders can get a quick score here on the board. We're not even yet 2 minutes into the ball game. Raiders kick off to start the game, and they're already knocking on the door here to try to put up the first touchdown of the game.
Actually, where they spot the ball is closer to the 7-yard line of Monmouth Roseville. 1st and goal for QND from the 7. Come out in the power ice, single receiver far side, ball in the far hash. Turn, give it to Arns. He's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage, and he will probably lose about a yard. So nice defensive penetration by the interior of the Monmouth defensive line, and Arns had nowhere to go after he took the handoff.
Yeah, we haven't seen that often from QND this year. Usually it's one thing they've done really well this year is not have negative yard plays.
Mm-hmm.
Even the plays that haven't looked great, it's still been 2nd and 9 or 2nd and something. But that time moving backwards here, it's a good start for the Titans defensively.
Ball in the middle of the field on 2nd and goal from about the 8. Anders has to wait for his blocking now. Will get forward and pick up about 3. They're going to mark him just inside the 5-yard line, Dalen Anders. So a pickup of about 3.5. is going to bring up 3rd and goal. And actually now, where did they put the ball down? They put the ball down right on the 5. So a gain of 3, 3rd and goal for QND from the 5-yard line, and definitely 4-down territory, Tom.
Yeah, I think so. And we'll see how that weighs into the play calling here. I would imagine QND run the ball here, but we'll see. if we should ever know what plays are going to call, it should be tonight, seeing as the coaches are standing right next to us.
Well, you're just going to have to stop talking and eavesdrop more. That's all there is to it. Although Coach Ilbert is down on the sideline who calls the plays. Out of the power I on 3rd and goal from the 5. They go wide with Andrews. He cuts it inside, stumbles a bit, but still skitters into the end zone for the touchdown. Not exactly a clean-looking play, Kyle, but no penetration by Monmouth Roseville on that play, and Andrews was able to make a cut, stumble a bit, and still right himself and get into the end zone for the 5-yard touchdown.
Yeah, credit the right side of that offensive line with giving Andrews that chance. You're right. He kind of stumbled there as he was trying to cut back upfield, and the good blocking allowed him to kind of get away with that stumble, and he was able to stay on his feet and take it in for a touchdown. So QND just over 3 minutes into this ball game, kickoff to start the game, and QND already on the board, looking for the extra point to go up 7-zip.
Dale and Andrews with a 5-yard touchdown run. Ben Nord will attempt the extra point, and looks like he pounded it through, and he did. So QND leads 7-0 with 8:56 left to go in the first quarter. Back in 30 seconds here on WTAD and QuincyJournal.com.
You want me to read this?
Dude. In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table. This is Michael Libman, Financial Service Representative with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Lipman. He makes house calls.
Take a 7-0 lead.
Yeah, nice job there taking advantage of the short field. It was, a 7-yard drive, 8-yard drive, somewhere in there. And QND taking advantage. Credit QND. I mean, that's obviously part of winning any football game. Not just, the other team's going to make mistakes, but can you really make them pay for it? QND has done that all season long. They did it again there.
Cooper Reese will put the ball back into play, and he'll go with the straight-ahead kick that pounds D. Coleman back to almost the goal line, but Coleman comes out now, and he's surrounded by 4 Raiders, and Coleman will be tackled at about the 17-yard line. Coleman went back, did a nice job to catch that ball just in the field of play, Kyle. Got about, 7 yards upfield, and I suddenly saw him surrounded by 4 or 5 Raiders, saying, where are you going to go, D?
Yeah, he did. He didn't really put on any moves, just kind of try to beat them all right through the middle. Austin Tappy, though, was the first one to get him, and he really had no chance there. So nice job by Tappy and this QND kickoff team.
So 1st and 10, Monmouth Roseville from their own 17-yard line. Raiders lead at 7-0. And Weber's going to throw, and he lobs one out here, and it's caught by Charlie Bertelson, who's trying to get the corner turn. He gets his ankles clipped by Brian Copley, and Bertelson's out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. That's a pickup of 15, a first down for Monmouth Roseville.
Yeah, nice catch there by Bertelson. Kind of right, he was able to catch that over his shoulder and really not slow down at all. He was able to catch it right in stride, so nice pitch and catch, and turning upfield there for a nice first down play for the Titans.
So 1st and 10, Monmouth Roseville from their own 32-yard line. Picked up 8 yards on their first 3 downs and pick up 15 on first down there. So from their own 32 on 1st and 10, Weber wanted to pitch it, but before he could, he was tackled and thrown for a loss by Blake Hilgenbrink. Talk about a textbook linebacker blitz, Kyle.
Yeah, great job by Hilgenbrink there from his middle linebacker position, timed it perfectly, and Weber had absolutely no chance, and great sure tackle there by Hilgenbrink. Titans trying something a little bit different here on this offensive drive. They're bumping out the tight ends, so they still got the 3 running backs, but instead of 2 tight ends, they've widened them out, lined them up at receivers here to see what kind of look QND gives them back.
A double wing set, and I think one of the Raiders tried to anticipate the snap and got caught in the neutral zone just as the ball was snapped, or an offensive lineman moved, but no, they called the encroachment penalty on QND. So the 5 yards lost on the option play by Weber is gained on the penalty, so now it's 2nd and 10 for Monmouth Roseville, back at the 32. Roseville went with a double wing set that time, more of a Illini West offensive look, and they go back to it here. Single back is Wesley Burris. And Weber's going to throw a 3-step drop, fires it on the outside, and it's incomplete. Contact by Jordan Obert, but no flag thrown. So it'll be 3rd and 10 for Monmouth Roseville from their own 32. And the receiver got a couple of steps behind Jordan Obert, but the ball was just overthrown, Cal.
Yeah, just by a little bit, and as a nice toss, kind of just a straight fade pattern, it looked like to me, to James Rogers there on the far side. It almost looked like Rogers might have turned around, and I'm not sure he saw the ball right away. It almost took him a half-second extra to react to it.
Burleson goes in motion towards the far sideline. They run a crossbuck play, and the running back that time was Shepard. And a nice tackle by Logan Arns around the shins knocks Shepard down at the 35. It's a gain of 3, and will bring up 4th and 7 for Monmouth Roseville from their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, it's kind of the inside give there. Some people consider that a reverse. Not really a reverse. It's kind of an end around, if you will. But coming from the inside, and Arns with a nice tackle there. There was some room to operate there. If Arns wouldn't have been able to make that tackle, it'd probably be a first down for the Titans.
So back to punt it away is D. Coleman. The first snap from the long snapper went over his head. Let's see how they do on this second punt snap. And again, it's a little high, but Coleman's able to corral it. Looks like he may take off and run, but it's a rugby punt, and it's a short punt, and it will be bouncing back towards QND's goal line and be down at the 45. So a rugby punt from D. Coleman only goes about 20 yards. The Raiders will take over at their own 45. QND already leading 7-0 here in the first quarter, which has 7:08 left to go in it.
Well, nice job there by Coleman. Nice running punt. I tell you, if they outlaw the rugby punt, it will be okay by me. If I'm ever in charge of all the rules, if we just punt, let's punt the ball. It drives me nuts. But it's effective and certainly slows down the return game. You know, it makes it very difficult for the other team to set up a punt return.
I have a punt play that I'd like to see outlawed. We'll talk about it at some point tonight. Out of the power I on 1st and 10. It's Parker Kinsel with it. He's got 5 and he's got 7 yards. Unable to get out of the grasp of Frank Jacobson, as Kinsel took it from his up back position, bounced to the outside, picked up 7 yards, Kyle, to the Roseville 48. Yeah,
Raiders getting the inside run ground game going there. Kinsel doing a great job up the middle, then kind of bounced out to his left, and a good tackle in the open field from Jacobson. So Raiders kind of getting some rhythm going here, not working off the short field. Let's see if see if they can work a little bit different in space here.
2nd and 3 from the Roseville 48 from QND. They bring Kinsel in motion towards the near sideline. Ball on the far hash. 2nd and 3. Turn, give it to Anders. He gets to the line of scrimmage, hesitates, tries to power forward, picks up maybe a yard. The far side linesman isn't giving him much at all. And it looks like a gain of a yard to the 47. It's going to bring up 3rd and 2 for QND from the Monmouth Roseville 47-yard line.
Well, just like most teams, certainly Dalen Anders no secret here to the Titans. Had a big game here last year. I believe it was 2 or 3 touchdowns for Dalen Anders last year here. So he'll try to replicate some of that work, and let's see if the Raiders can pick up this first down first.
From the Roseville 47, 3rd and 2, ball on the far hash. Out of the power I, turn, give it to Kinsel again. He plays hide and seek and gets the first down inside the 45. The pile pushes him inside the 40, and Kinsel will go down at about the 37-yard line. And I don't know how much of that was Parker Kinsel and how much of it was just the weight push from the players on the field, kind of guiding him an extra 10 yards.
Yeah, credit, you're right. Credit QND's offensive line for blocking all the way to the whistle. We saw several of them down there all the way down the field trying to get Kinsel going even further. So QND offensive line working real hard there on a 3rd and short, and they picked up an extra 4 or 5 yards there at the end of the run.
Pick up of 10 for Parker Kinsel, 1st and 10 QND. Give it to Anders. He bounces it inside the tackle, and I'll bounce it to the sideline. He's got 10, he's got 15, he's got 20, and brought down on the far sideline at about the 15-yard line. That'll be a pickup of about 22 for Dalen Anders. And that was a patient run again, Kyle, as he got to the corner and kind of waited to see what kind of block was thrown by his teammate and just made the cut off that block and picked up 22 to the 15, 1st and 10 Raiders.
Yeah, that's one thing we've seen him do a lot this year. He's really done well at setting up his own blocks, showing some patience, allowing his teammates to make those blocks, and maybe cutting inside, so that defender comes back inside, and then jutting outside so his blocker can have him sealed.
From the far hash, 1st and 10 from the Roseville 15. Give it back to Kinsel. He sheds one tackler and is able to fall forward for a gain of about a yard, maybe 2. And that's a heck of a run by Parker Kinsel. And folks at home are saying, what is he talking about? He only gained 2. He got hit right on the thigh pad, Kyle, as he got to the line of scrimmage, but was able to maintain his balance and at least fall forward and pick up about 4 feet on the play.
No, you're right. It's a good point. It's easier to point out those long runs, 10-yard runs, 20-yard runs, and say, nice job. But you're right. That was a heck of a 2-yard run. That was hard-earned. Seen that many times from Kinsel this year.
2nd and 8 for the Raiders from the 13-yard line of Monmouth Roseville. Kinsel comes in motion towards the near sideline. They will pitch it wide to Anders. Has Arns out in front of him. Anders turns to corner, and he will get to the end zone without being touched. Touchdown, Dalen Anders from 13 yards out, and that was student body right, Kyle, and nobody touched the tailback.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch the Q&D receiver that was on that side that made such a nice block there. I wasn't able to, but you're right. It was Kinsel on the lead block. It was Arns as well. Didn't catch the receiver that was out there. Didn't catch the number, but good sure. I think it was Cornwell. So now he's jogging off the field. LB Cornwell with the sure block from the receiver spot, and set Anders up for his second Q&D touchdown of the night.
4:12 left to go in the first quarter, and we almost had a major casualty up here in the press box, but a nice save by Sam Douglas. Extra point by Ben Nord is good. 4:12 left to go first quarter. It's Q&D 14, Monmouth Roseville nothing. Back in 30 seconds here on WTAD.
Fox News Radio.
He almost destroyed equipment, but he made the save.
The world, you can.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table. This is Michael Libman, Financial Service Representative with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Lipman. He makes house calls.
Leading 14-0, and I think a penalty flag was thrown on Monmouth Roseville sideline during the after touchdown break.
You know, you'd remember, Tim, last year we saw a linesman holding the first down markers actually get kicked out of the game.
Yeah, chain gang member.
The chain gang member. So this would be very normal in comparison. Looks like Q&E's going to kick off from the Titans' 45-yard line.
Wow, so not only a penalty, but a 15-yard penalty. I noticed Anders, when he got across the goal line, Kyle, there was backside pressure coming his way, and he pulled up just as he crossed the goal line, and maybe he got hit anyway, and the official figured it was hard enough that they should throw a flag. It probably wasn't if you've been to enough football games, but he threw the flag. So Cooper Reese will kick off from the 15, and he'll kick it 8 yards deep into the end zone. So it's an automatic touchback, and Monmouth Roseville will take over at their own 20, trailing 14-0 here, and we have about 4 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Monmouth Roseville has gotten one first down in this game, and that was courtesy of a 15-yard pass from Josh Weber to Charlie Bertelson. And really, other than that, Kyle, they haven't been able to do a whole lot offensively.
No, they haven't. Certainly Q&D off to a good start defensively and offensively for that matter. I was curious to see if Q&D would do anything tricky there with that kickoff. Having that, being able to kick off from the Titans 45 might have been a decent time to, try a pooch kick or try an onside kick or just try something different and really try to pin or take a shot, to recover the onside kick, but they decided to boot it away.
They give it off to Tucker Shepard. He's able to shed one tackler, and it looks like with all the laundry on the field, that was a face mask that was missed by Q&D. But Tucker Shepard took that handoff, got hit about 4 yards deep in the backfield. Kyle was able to get off that tackle attempt, and it was a face mask on the Raiders. So Shepard did a lot of work just to get back to the line of scrimmage, but then the 15-yard penalty will give Monmouth Roseville a first down. It looks like Shepard picked up 3 on the play, then the 15-yard penalty as they mark it at the 38 of Monmouth Roseville. So 1st and 10 Titans after the 3-yard gain and then the 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, you don't see many penalties draw 3 flags. If you see 3 flags in the field, it was kind of a surefire penalty. Yeah. That was flags flying from all over the place in that one.
That wasn't just one man's judgment. That was 6, that was 6 eyeballs seeing the same thing. 1st and 10 Monmouth Roseville from their own 38-yard line. Weber, the quarterback, hands off to Burris, and he's able to get to the 40-yard line for a gain of about 2. And 16 for the Raiders from their own 29. Obviously, the Raiders need to get to their own 45 for a first down. Power ice, single receiver to the near side, ball on the far hash. Kinsel comes in motion towards the near sideline. Bemberlow takes the snap, drops straight back to pass. He's setting up a screen to Dale Anders, almost overthrows him, and it does overthrow him. Anders goes after the ball anyway to make sure it's not a lateral. So we've seen 3 screen passes, Kyle, in about 13 minutes of playing time. Executed once very well by Monmouth Roseville. Once was an overthrown ball, and then an overthrown ball by Max Bemberlow. Raiders have to punt it away.
Yeah, Anders the intended recipient there. He's trying to get closer to the sideline. Has his shoulder. He kind of threw it to the opposite shoulder there that Anders was wanting the ball. He had to turn his hips back to the inside and wasn't able to get quite flipped around fast enough, and incomplete pass.
Carson Vanderheide gets the kick away. It's a short kick that will bounce, and he gets a great roll, does Vanderheide, as it rolls inside the Titans 35 and will be touched dead by Ronnie Hinkamper at about the Titans 33. So a punt of about 30 yards in the air and then probably about 10 more on the bounce. So Monmouth Roseville takes over at their own 33, trailing QND by the score. Actually, the mark at 34. 14-0 QND leads it. Roseville will take over at their own 34. Fourth possession for the Titans. They got the ball to start the game, went 3 and out, then had the bad punt snap, and the Raiders went the short field to get the first touchdown of the game. Josh Weber, the quarterback, has 2 receivers split to the near side, wing to the near side as well as Tucker Shepard. Weber drops straight back to pass, throws the slant pattern, is complete to Coleman, bounces up on one tackle, now bounces to the far sideline. He's got Copley to beat, tackles himself. Coleman was looking to decide what kind of mood to put on Brian Copley, and Coleman lost his footing and went down inside the Raider 35 at the 34. So it's a pickup of 32 and a 1st and 10 for Monmouth Roseville.
Yeah, nice catch there from Coleman. I think he was trying to get Copley to turn his shoulders back to the inside. I think Coleman had him beat if he just would have stuck to the sideline and could have beat him to the sideline and beat him to the end zone. But he instead tries to put a move towards the inside to turn Copley's hips around. And when he tries to do that, he kind of takes himself out.
And worse yet for the Raiders, Blake Hilgenbrink went off the field with a sore ankle as he was hobbling to the far sideline and got to the far sideline and immediately sat down. Handoff inside give to Tucker Shepard, picks up 2 for the Titans down to the Raider 32. It'll be 2nd and 8 for Monmouth Roseville. So bad enough you give up a 32-yard pass play, Kyle, but you lose Blake Hilgenbrink in the process. That's not good.
Now we'll have to keep an eye on that. Hilgenbrink's certainly one of the core leaders of this Raiders defensive unit, especially doing a great job this year at the middle linebacker spot.
Shepard goes in motion. The give is up the middle to Burris, and he's able to get to the 30-yard line for a gain of 3. It's going to bring up 3rd and a long 5 for Monmouth Roseville. Actually, they're going to put the ball outside the 30, closer to the 31, but it's going to be 3rd and a long 5 for Monmouth Roseville.
Hilgenbrink there along the sideline. He's sitting on the ground having that right ankle looked at. It looks like he's going to get up on his feet, though.
Yeah, he can put his weight on it a little bit, but he's hobbling over there on the far sideline. So 3rd and a long 5 or a short 6 for Monmouth Roseville. Ball just outside the Raider 30-yard line. Josh Weber takes the snap, looking to throw. 3-step drop, fires the deep fade. He's looking for his receiver, Rogers, and it's knocked away by Jordan Obert.
Textbook coverage there by Jordan Obert. Staying right with the receiver, had his right hand along the near sideline. Jordan Obert with his right hand outside arm there, right on the receiver's hip. Reaches up with his inside arm and knocks the ball away on the fade pattern. So that is just how they draw it up. Nice coverage there from Jordan Obert.
And for a second there, I thought Landon Peters was going to get over there and catch the rebound.
Too, yeah, he was close.
So it's 4th and about 6 for Monmouth Roseville, and they're going to go for it from just outside the Raider 30-yard line. Weber about to get under his center. He sends Shepard in motion. Weber will drop back to pass. Looking, fires over the middle. It is dropped by Coleman as he took a hit from Peters after the ball went off his hands. Coleman was open, Kyle, in the middle of the field and would have had a 1st and goal situation, but just couldn't make connections on the catch.
Yeah, Weber put probably a little too much air under the ball there. He was trying to get it over the linebackers' heads and put some air under it and allowed Peters to come up and make the big hit and knock it the ball loose from Coleman. So Q&D defense holds there on 2 straight. Real strong pass, defending the pass there twice in a row on 3rd and 4th down.
Now, that's a situation where you can almost, without knowing it, say that Coleman heard footsteps. That ball was in the air so long that once he tried to make the catch, you kind of see his mind working that I'm going to take a big hit.
This ball needs to get here.
Yeah. And he didn't make connection. So the Raiders take over 1st and 10, turn and give it to Anders. Anders tries to go right, cuts inside, runs into his own blocker, Miller, and gets to about the 30-yard line. So got back to the line of scrimmage, no gain. And really, Monmouth Roseville is doing a pretty good job, Kyle, on Dalen Anders, 48 yards on 7 carries.
Yeah, you can kind of tell they're keying on him pretty significantly. You see those linebackers certainly stepping with him. We'll see if the fullbacks, Kinsel's had a couple nice carries so far. We'll see if they can take some of that pressure off of him. I'm not sure that last play, I'm not sure the whole offense there was on the same page. I think half the players, they were going one way and half were going the other.
On 2nd and 10 from their own 30, Arns will come in motion towards the near sideline. Ball on the far hash from the Raider 30 on 2nd and 10. Vanderlo stands back, fires. It's complete over the middle of the Welper for a gain of about 6. You're saying he was saddled up and rode, huh?
Yeah, he was. That was pass interference the entire play. Nice catch by Welper nonetheless. Then even when Welper was tackled and still trying to get up, the guy was still trying to tackle him. He had blown his whistle and everything, and Welper's trying to get off the ground. But
must have been defended by a high school wrestler.
Yeah.
I got to stay with my man the whole time. Pick up a 6 on the play, brings up 3rd and 4 for the Raiders. From their own 36, power I. Vanderlo fakes, still has it, rolls out to the far sideline, still has it. He's going to take off with it, not get to the first down. A good tackle by Tommy Simpson. They're going to mark Vanderlo down at the 39, I believe, as he rolled over Simpson after the hit. And it's going to be 4th and 1 for the Raiders. And they are going to send out the punt team, and Blake Hilgenbrink is going out on the field, Kyle.
Yeah, Roseville's done a pretty good job here defensively, really, so far. I mean, I know it's 14-0. You might not think of it. Certainly one of those drives was kind of a gimme drive where the QD took over on the 7-yard line and still took 3 plays to punch it in. So they've done a pretty nice job defensively.
And now the Monmouth Roseville Titans jump in the neutral zone, but were they drawn off? I don't think they were, and the way the Raiders sideline is reacting, it is offsides on Monmouth Roseville, so that 5-yard penalty will give the Raiders a first down.
It's a play where the offensive line, if you will, for the Q&D punt team all comes up to the line in a 2-point stance, and on a certain call, they all fire in a 3-point stance there all at the same time, very quickly, very dramatically, and that helped cause the Titans to jump off sides.
No one Q&D circles as the Palmyra play. Because the Panthers did that ad nauseum. On a first down give after the penalty, it's a 3-yard gain for Logan Arns up the middle. Takes it from the Raider 44 to the 47, so it'll be 2nd and 7 for Q&D. And Kyle, I was with some football officials a couple of weeks ago, and they were debating amongst themselves whether what Q&D just did is a penalty on the offense or the defense.
I don't see how you see it. You see it on Saturdays, you see it on Sundays too. I don't understand how it's not.
But the interesting thing is, they all had a different opinion on whether it was a penalty or not. And the one gentleman, who's a football official, said, I don't think that's a penalty, but I think what the Cowboys do, where they raise their shoulders up and reset, is a penalty.
Okay.
Anders takes the handoff, tries to turn the corner, pushes the pile forward. He's inside Titan territory to about the 49 or 48. Looks like they're going to give Anders the 49, which will bring up 3rd and about 2.5 for QND. A gain of about 5 for Dalen Anders.
Almost halfway through the second quarter here, and the Raiders up 14-0. So big play, certainly from Q&D picking up that first down on the offsides penalty, and set themselves up in another 3rd down situation here.
From the 48, they gave Anders, so it's actually closer to 3rd and 2 for Q&D. The 48 of Monmouth Roseville, they turn, give it to Anders. He tries to bounce it outside again. He's tackled behind the line, and the tackler, Angel Araglin, got enough. I'm sorry, Blake Arnold with the tackle, 56, not 59. But he got enough of Anders to knock Anders down for a 2-yard loss, Kyle, and it brings up 4th and 4, and the Raiders have to punt it away.
Yeah, credit the Titans defense there again. Forced the punt before and then just had the offsides penalty. Here they go again, making the stop.
Von der Heide will fake that the punt went over his head. The Raiders run a fake punt. Monmouth Roseville snuffs it out for no gain.
Snap went to Hilgenbrink. Hilgenbrink back in the game is one of the short men on the punt team. Snapped it right to Hilgenbrink. He tried to run off tackle to the right and really had nothing doing there. Titans not fooled at all, and they'll take over at midfield. We saw the Raiders almost run that play against Mater Dei earlier this season, right before the ball was snapped. The timeout was called. But this time they ran it, and the Titans were all over it.
I don't think whoever runs that play gets the first down on that play, Kyle, the way the defense from Monmouth Roseville handled that play. But Hilgenbrink with a bad ankle takes the snap. On first down, here's Burris. He burrows his way close to the Raider 45. Looks like they're going to give the 46, so a gain of 4 for Wesley Burris. It's going to be 2nd and 6 for Monmouth Roseville from the Raider 46-yard line.
You're right, Hilgenbrink back in the game as well from his middle linebacker spot. And you can see him kind of favoring that ankle here between plays, kind of limping around a little bit.
The way he's acting, I would say it's more of a twist right now, being the medical doctor that I am. Weber floats a pass to the outside, and it's intercepted by Parker Kinsel. Kinsel picks off the pass as Weber lobbed it up into coverage, trying to hit a running back on I guess technically what is a screen pass or at least a pass in the flat to the running back. And Kinsel with tight coverage all the way, and the ball bounced off a shoulder pad, and Quincy was able to turn his body and make the catch before the ball hit the ground. So a pick for QNE's defense gives the Raiders the ball at their own 42, 1st and 10. QNE leading 14-0 with 5:10 left to go in the first half.
Yeah, you're right. Ball kind of bouncing off a shoulder pad. Quincy kind of had to turn around in midair and throw his zips back to catch that ball and was able to secure it on his way down. So nice athletic play from Parker Quincy.
So the Raiders take over 1st and 10 at their own 42. Out of the power I turn, give it to Anders. Right up the middle this time. He's got about 4 yards as he gets to the Raiders' 46. It'll be 2nd and 6 for QNE. And Monmouth Roseville's doing a great job of making the Raiders earn every inch in the running game for QNE out of the power I.
Yeah, at the time it was Tommy Simpson from a defensive back position kind of coming up there to help finish off Dalen Anders and doing a nice job bringing him down.
So 2nd and 6 for QNE from their own 46-yard line. Raiders leading 14-0 just past the midway point of the second quarter. Two-back set here with two receivers, tight end far side, ball in the near hash. Timeout called by QND as apparently the Raiders were not lined up properly. So we'll take a 30-second break. QND leading 14-0. Back in 30 seconds on WTAD and QuincyJournal.com.
It's talk.
It's coming to Quincy, and it's a game changer. Fiber is the fastest technology available, and Adams is bringing fiber to the home. Nothing else compares to fiber, and Adams will be connecting Quincy neighborhoods to this lightning-fast internet and telephone service with no gimmick pricing and local service. Find out how your neighborhood can become a fiberhood. Just take the quick survey at followthefiber.net. Adams, the better and now faster way to connect.
Tim and Kyle with you on this Friday evening. Bruce Terstegi, who has a birthday tomorrow.
Big day.
I won't say how old Bruce is. He's a little bit older than me. That's all I'll say. Just a little bit. And we're both October birthday boys. So Q&E calls timeout as the Raiders face a 2nd and 6 from their own 46-yard line. Q&E comes out with an eye set, two receivers in the ball game, ball in the near hash. Max Vemberlo turns, a double fake. Vemberlo rolls out to the far side, still has it, stands up, fires, and overshoots Tappy. Open in the flat. And a conversation among the coaches about a receiver cutting his pattern off, but Max Vemberlo had Tappy open, Kyle, and just overshot the ball by about 5 yards.
Yeah, he did a nice job. He waited nice and patiently there to let Tappy clear one more defender there. I think it was number 9. It was Shepard for the Titans. Kind of cleared Shepard. And I thought it would look like a nice pass there at first, but threw a little bit behind him and, did a nice job showing the patience there and really delivered the ball with a lot of confidence, just a little bit behind Tappy.
So 3rd and 6 for the Raiders from their own 46-yard line. Eye set. Receiver split to both sides. Ball in the near hash. Vemberlo will pitch it wide to Anders. Anders looks to cut inside, does so, and has the first down, and gets about 7 yards on the play. So Anders needed 6, and he picked up 7 or 8. And Kyle, once he made his mind up on where he was going to run, he just kicked it into another gear.
Yeah, he did. He left Tucker Shepard, the defensive back for the Titans, kind of in his dust there. Shepard went unblocked. He was coming from the inside. And normally you might see one of the fullback lead blockers try to get a helmet on him. That time they both kind of came back inside quicker on some defensive linemen, and I tell you, it didn't matter that he went untouched. Anders planted that outside foot and just zipped right upfield.
So 1st and 10 for the Raiders. They go with the end around to Jordan Obert. He's going to cut it inside, sidestep a man, and pick up about 5 or 6 on the play. So after Anders gained 8 on 3rd and 6, Jordan Obert goes with the end around and picks up about 6 and comes up hobbling a little bit on his ankle, but looks like he can walk it off. Mark Obert down at the 40. It'll be 2nd and 4 for QND.
I believe the Raiders scored on the reverse last year. Similar play to Jordan Chappell, if memory serves up here. So went to reverse again, and pretty good looking play there. It was sometimes the hardest part of that is getting the ball to the receiver. That was a nice smooth transition.
Parker Quincy takes the handoff and bursts up the middle of the field, bounces off a couple of tackles, still going. Charlie Burleson has him wrapped up, but Quincy takes Burleson inside the 20 to about the 19. That's a gain of 21 yards and a 1st and 10 for QND.
Almost gets tackled about 10 yards down the field, kind of gets spun around, able to stay on his feet, and then drives another would-be tackler for another 5 or 10 yards. One of the most impressive things we've seen Quincy is not just driving the pile forward sometimes, but driving the pile forward when he's being tackled at an awkward position.
Yeah, you're right. First and 10 Q&E from just inside the Titans' 20-yard line. Kinsel comes in motion this time, leaving an eye backfield. And the Raiders will turn, give it to Anders. He wanted to go up the middle of the field and now is forced to dive forward and pick up about 2 or 3. Looks like they're going to give Anders about 2 to the 18-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 8 for Q&E. And that was Anders trying to run the play, Kyle, seeing that nothing was going to develop and just kind of diving forward for as much as he could get.
Yeah, not a ton there. Yeah, bouncing back a play, I go to Kinsel. You know, oftentimes you see running backs go for extra yards after contact when their shoulders are squared upfield and they just outdrive another tackler. This time it was Kinsel kind of facing the sideline anyway and still able to kind of revert his momentum and get back upfield when, you know, anyone else would have gone straight down. He's able to kind of redirect his momentum and get upfield as opposed to straight down to the ground to the sideline.
Timeout called by Monmouth Roseville defensively here, with the Raiders facing a 2nd and 8 from the Titans' 17-yard line. Basically what you're describing, Kyle, from Parker Kinsel is something we would talk about a running back doing who's like 6 foot 220. But Parker Kinsel's 5'7", 146 after a full meal.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you typically see those fullbacks tougher to carry when their shoulders are squared and they're 220 to use your numbers. So Kinsel's not quite there, and I don't think he'll get there next year either. But in terms of weight, but man, he's tough to bring down.
He could cheat with all the performance-enhancing drugs he wanted to, and not still see 220 next year.
Yeah, if he came in at 200 next year, I'd have questions. I know that.
And from what Coach Cannell was telling me this morning, Kyle, the modern-day players were kind of needling Kinsel before the game about his size. You don't need to give Parker Kinsel, or any Kinsel for that matter, any extra motivation. So Parker Kinsel was, if he wasn't ready to play before the modern-day game, he was certainly ready to play after the pregame. I guess he was getting quite the needle from the modern-day Knights.
I doubt they were doing much needling afterwards in the post-game handshake. I imagine it was Kinsel walking through with some handshakes and a big smile.
Yeah, I can see that. 2nd and 8 for Q&E after the Monmouth Roseville timeout. Ball just inside the Roseville 18. Turn it, give it to Anders, and Anders is cut off his feet right near the 15-yard line. It looks like they're going to put the ball squarely on the 15, so a gain of about 3 for Anders. So again, it's 3rd and 5 for the Raiders, but this is definitely 4-down territory as the Raiders are in the red zone here. So
Q&E trying a little bit different look there. That time in the 3-back set still, but brought in the receiver to a tight end spot. So trying to get a little bit heavier, trying to get a little bit more physical against this Titans defensive front.
On 3rd and 5 from about the 15-yard line for Q&E, the Titans 15. Vemberlo will turn. He'll fake, come the near side, stumble, and be tackled for a big loss. Vemberlo tried to bootleg it to the weak side, to his left, if you will, and after he made the play fake, he almost lost his footing, and that gave the defense time to get back there and wrap up Vemberlo for a 10-yard loss. And it's going to be 3rd and 15 for Q&E from the Monmouth Roseville 25, and now the Raiders are going to call a timeout to see what they want to do here.
Yeah, Vemberlo kind of gets tripped up there trying to boot out to his left-hand side. I'm not sure it would have made a ton of difference or not.
No, it looked like there was good pursuit.
Yeah. Q&E will call a timeout and think about this. 25-yard line going in, 1:15 left. In the second quarter, Raiders up 14-0, so we'll see what the Raiders coaching staff comes up with here to try to pick up these 15 yards.
Well, if Cooper Reese or Ben Nord wanted to try a field goal, I would think it'd be at a 42, 43-yard variety, and I'm not sure how the wind is affecting kicks going this direction.
It's not going to help them. It's going to be against them.
So I don't think the Raiders have that option. So it's a matter of trying to draw up a play that'll gain you 15 yards and 1 inch. Or more on 4th and 15.
You know, we've seen him try the screen tonight. We've seen him try the pop pass on the seam route there to Welper, who had a nice catch. They've tried the counter boot a couple times after the play action to Anders. So
I would say if you're going to roll out, go right instead of left based on what I just saw.
Yeah, you're probably right, sir. The ball's about right down the middle, so I guess it'd be about the same either way.
So 4th and 15 from the Titans 25. Raiders come out, and they will go for it. Power eye, single receiver far side. Now the Raiders will go to a Notre Dame set. In fact, an empty backfield. Vemberlo will be under center, though. 3-by-2 the receivers. Vemberlo takes a snap, drops straight back. Will lob it over the middle, and it's incomplete. Trying to hit Jordan Obert on a seam route. And that wasn't the best throw, and it wasn't exactly the most aggressive attempt at a catch, but I think that had more to do with the throw. So the Raiders turn it over on downs, and one of the few times this year, Kyle, where the Raiders get a defensive turnover and don't turn it into points.
No, that's a good point. That time they had Anders on the inside spot here on the trips to the left. They were hoping the defense would flow over there. They tried to pump fake to Anders and then tried to come back to the right to Obert, and that time just nothing doing.
So 71 seconds left to go in the half. QD leading 14-0. Raiders will get the ball to start the second half. And we'll see what Monmouth Roseville wants to do here with one timeout remaining. Weber drops straight back to pass under immediate pressure, and Heelweeble was sacked. Then fumbled the ball late, but that play should have been blown dead long before that fumble took place, as Weber was wrapped up by the Raider defender, and they just kept going backwards and backwards and backwards. Nathan Turpin with the sack for QND, and that play could have been blown dead about 5 seconds before they actually did.
Nice job by Turpin finishing the play, though. There was no whistle blowing. You keep running those legs. So nice job, nice sack by Nathan Turpin, the sophomore.
8-yard loss on the play for Monmouth Roseville sets up 2nd and 18 from their own 17-yard line. And Monmouth Roseville taking their time here.
30 seconds and counting left in the half.
And CUNY leading 14-0. Weber under center will give it off to Bertelson. Bertelson will make one man miss, but get driven down at about the 22. Gain of about 5. And now I think the Raiders have burned their third and final timeout of the half. So Bertelson picks up 5. It'll bring up third and about 13 for Monmouth Roseville after this QD timeout. Their third and final timeout of the first half. But all in all, Kyle, if I'm Monmouth Roseville, I got to be pretty pleased with the way I've come out and played tonight.
Yeah, especially the way they started the ball game, 3 and out, snapped it over the punter's head, gave the Raiders the ball at the 7-yard line, led to a 7-0 start for QD, and here we are. Looked like the Raiders might be on a roll, and you're right. The Raiders certainly doing well. I mean, up 14-zip, but they've done a pretty good job answering the Raiders physically. Have matched them kind of blow for blow physically between the tackles and doing a pretty good job slowing down QD offensively. Roseville kind of wasted that, had an opportunity there on a nice catch on a seam route, 32-yard catch earlier from Coleman, but other than that, hadn't done a ton offensively.
Raiders have carried the ball 24 times rushing for just over 100 yards, so Raiders are being kept basically to 4 yards a pop, which is low for them in this football season. After the QD timeout, Josh Weber will give it off to the wingback, and he's planted in the backfield by Parker Kinsel and Logan Arms.
Oh, man.
And it was Bertelson with the carry, and he got drilled by those two linebackers, and Parker Kinsel tackled him, stood up, stuck out his hand and said, "Let me help you up there, sir." And Bertelson was more than happy to oblige. So the Raiders will see the clock run out, and QD will get the ball to start the second half, and the Raiders will be leading it 14-0. QD 14, Monmouth Roseville nothing at the half. Back in 2 minutes. Raider football on W.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table. This is Michael Libman, financial service representative with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Lipman. He makes house calls.
A loved one passes on, and for a moment, time seems to stand still.
My husband was my whole world. We spent so much time together.
Making funeral arrangements is never easy. We can help you create a ceremony with sensitivity, compassion, and respect. Hanson Spear Funeral Home, celebrating a life well lived.
It's coming to Quincy, and it's a game changer. Fiber is the fastest technology available, and Adams is bringing fiber to the home. Nothing else compares to fiber, and Adams will be connecting Quincy neighborhoods to this lightning-fast internet and telephone service with no gimmick pricing and local service. Find out how your neighborhood can become a fiberhood. Just take the quick survey at followthefiber.net. Adams, the better and now faster way to connect.
Your State Farm agent, Charles Schultz, can help get you to a better state. From cost to coverage, Charles can develop a plan just for you.
This is Charles Schultz. Call me at 224-6665 or drop by my office next to County Market at 48th and Broadway, and together we'll review your insurance needs.
Around here, people matter, and relationships are built on trust. That's the way it is at Town & Country Bank. Real people who like things simple, honest, and done right. And our roots are right here, so we're truly local. If you already do business with us, then you know how good banking can be. And if you're not, well, maybe you should. Town & Country Bank. You'll like how we do business.
Part of the HNB Bank family.
Federated Insurance is a lot like the family businesses we help protect. For 105 years and counting, Federated has shared the common values that have served our clients well. Federated Insurance, it's our business to protect yours.
Call Tony Reese in Quincy at 223-4623.
My name is Chuck Brumville, and I'm running to be your Adams County Clerk and Recorder. I've managed Central State Bank for 13 years, which has given me the necessary knowledge to run the clerk's office efficiently. As a qualified and dedicated professional, I will bring professionalism back to the office. And with my integrity and financial business experience, I will improve the overall efficiency of the office, resolve the repeat audit violations from the office, and improve the cohesiveness of every elected official within the courthouse. I'm Chuck Brumville, and I thank you for your vote and support.
That commercial break allowed Tim Kinshirf to work his smartphone to try and get an update on the Rochester game. And, in fact, Decatur MacArthur is leading Rochester 32-20 with 8:50 left to go in the third quarter. That would be a big upset.
Yeah, good for MacArthur. Coming to play tonight.
And Rochester has Sacred Heart Griffin next week, so maybe it's the classic look ahead to next week for the Rochester Rockets.
I imagine they've got their attention now.
Excuse me while I have some water. Yeah.
Hydrate.
Good news is you have the lead. Bad news is you may have woke the sleeping giant. As apparently Rochester's forced 2 3-and-outs defensively to start the second half, and they scored the first time they got the ball in the second half to see if the Rockets can do it again and get back into that ball game. But here, QNE leads 14-0 over Monmouth Roseville, and QNE will get the ball to start the second half if Kyle Vemberle will get out of the coach's way.
I'm just trying to stay out of the stairs' way. These are some steep stairs up here, and it does not look like it's to be a soft landing. So I will stay by this safe rail.
So it's safety first for Kyle Vemberle, not eavesdropping.
No.
Okay. QNE will be moving from right to left here in the third quarter. Same direction they were going in the second quarter.
Sam Douglas was able to save the camera tonight. I'm not counting on him to be able to save me from falling down the stairs. So.
Yeah, first he tried to knock it into the bleachers. Second, he caught it before it could get out the window. So it was comical and impressive all in almost a 5-second span.
And scary.
Yes, as dollar signs were floating through everyone's head.
Scariest for Sam, I think.
But it would have been a long walk back to Quincy. So here we go with the second half. And the kick is towards Dalen Anders, who bobbles it at the 10-yard line. Now picks it up, goes right up the middle of the field, and gets tackled by basically his own blockers just before the Raider 30-yard line. I would imagine they'll put Anders down at about the 28. They do. It'll be 1st and 10 Raiders from their own 28, leading 14-0 as we start the second half.
Well, they haven't done it here since the first quarter, but you mentioned the halftime here. It'd be a great time here for the Raiders going a nice 12 or 15-play drive. We saw them do it a couple times in the second half against Mater Dei, and so that they certainly have it in. It'd be a great time to do it against this Titan defense.
On 1st and 10, they hand it off to Parker Kinsley. Bounce it to the near sideline. He's at the 40. Stiff arms a man and gets, well, he looked like he was going to get pushed out of bounds, but he was able to just reach out and get the ball over the 45 to almost the 46. So 17 yards for sure, and it looks like they're going to give Kinsel 18 on the play. And Parker Kinsel's been the best offensive weapon for QNE tonight. 5 carries, 58 yards, and a first down for the Raiders on the first play of the second half.
Well, and an absolute great block on that play from Logan Arns. My goodness, just absolutely putting a Titan linebacker on their back and just open up that hole up the middle for Kinsel. Great job by Arns.
1st and 10 Raiders from their own 46. Kinsel comes in motion towards the near sideline, ball in the near hash. They run a double move, give it to Anders. He's got 5, and he will plow his way forward to the 45-yard line, just short of the first down. So a pickup of 9 for Dalen Anders, and it will be 2nd and short for QND.
Yeah, nice shot there, following the blocks of Andrew Halter, and around the right side it was Halter and Miller there on the counter play, coming from their left guard and left tackle position, pulling over to the right-hand side, and those are two pretty big guys to follow, so good decision there by Andrews following those two big linemen.
2nd and about a foot for QND from the Titans 45. Ball on the far hash, turn, give it to Kinsel. He lowers his shoulders, keeps his balance, and squirms his way to the 41-yard line. Pickup of about 5 for QND. Actually, a gain of 4 for QND and a first down at the Titans 41.
Kinsel doing what they call the all-star drill, using that arm to keep yourself from your shoulders going down. So he was about a foot off the ground. His shoulders and hips were about a foot off the ground, and he was able to push forward about 3 yards that way.
Ball in the middle of the field at the Titans 41, 1st and 10 QND, leading 14-0. Out of the power I, Vemberle turns, gives it to Anders. He immediately bounces it to the right side, and a nice backside pursuit tackle by Wesley Burris as he gets to Anders, just as it looked like Anders was going to get some real estate to work with between the far hash and the sideline. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Looked like Jacob Abel did a pretty good job there on the right-hand side to open that up for QND, but you're right, it was nice backside pursuit. And it's not often you catch Anders from behind given his speed, but we've talked a lot this year about his patience and doing a nice job letting holes open up for him. Sometimes when you are patient and allow those holes open up for you, that it can create some opportunities for some good backside pursuit, and I think that's what happened there.
Second and basically 10 for QND, and it took a while for the play to get in the huddle. They're going to have to hurry, and they're going to have to burn a timeout, what the Raiders do. I don't think there's a play clock here, but you kind of feel the play clock in your head, Kyle, ticking down, and it was getting close to the 25-second mark, so QND calls a timeout here, and they will have second and 10 from the Titans 41. QND leading 14-0. We're in the early stages of the third quarter. We had 9:38 left to go in the third quarter. So probably a smart move there, Kyle. You don't want to take a second and 10 and turn it into a second and 15.
Right.
If you can have a fourth and short here on the first possession of the second half, you'll be inside the 35 of Monmouth Roseville. You would go for it in that situation, but you get a 5-yard penalty there and second and 15, then you're really going to have to work hard, especially with the way the Roseville defense is playing here tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot this year. Really, one of the keys for QND is putting themselves in no worse than second and 9s, and make sure you're always within third and 3 or third and 4. As not quite the shotgun spread it out, four receiver type look that we've seen in the past 4 or 5 years, where if you get a second and 15, it's really no big deal. You're going to throw it 2 different times, 15 or 20 yards. You can pick it up pretty easy. But this time, you're right, it couldn't afford a 5-yard penalty.
So after the QND timeout, second and 10, they give it to Anders. He tried to cut behind his blocks, and he's able to stumble forward for a gain of about 3. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7 for QND from the Titans' 37-yard line.
Yeah, that time it looked like QND going back to the counter play.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost looked like the guards and tackles that are pulling there for QND are kind of have other defenders there in their own way and weren't able to make it all the way across the field there to make their own blocks for Anders.
So 3rd and about 7 for the Raiders. They send Arns in motion out of the power I towards the near sideline. Now Vanderlei will fake to Anders, still has it. Under some pressure, will lob it out here to Arns, and he makes the catch. He'll get the first down inside the 30, inside the 25, inside the 20. He cuts inside a man, fights off a tackler, and gets it down to about the 7-yard line for a gain of about 30. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, but isn't that the play that scored the touchdown against Notre Dame?
It is. Queen's right, Louis Dumbo, they call it. Arns goes in motion. They fake a handoff up the middle. They allow kind of the linebackers to bite on that fake, a safety to come up on the fake, and throw it in the flat to Logan Arns. That time, Vanderlei did a great job putting it on Arns' upfield shoulder, was able to catch it on the run and then turn upfield. And Arns with a nice catch and then zip up the sideline.
Ball in the near hash, 1st and goal for QND from the 7-yard line. Handed off to Quincy. He jumps, bounces off a tackler, and scores for the Raiders. Parker Quincy is full of vinegar tonight, and usually there's 2 words before that, but I don't want to say them on the radio.
A nice job there by Quincy finishing off the drive, and again the play set up there by Max Vanderlei and Logan Arns converting there on a 3rd and long situation, and Arns puts the Raiders in a 1st and goal, and then Quincy finishes off. So nice drive. What a start to the second half here for QND, going on a nice long drive, and what we talked about during halftime there. That'd be obviously the preferred start. That'd be a great start for QND, and they're going to go up by 3 touchdowns here.
Ben Nord's extra point is good, so the Raiders go 72 yards in 3.5 minutes, and with 8:27 left to go in the third quarter, our new score is QND 21, Monmouth Roseville nothing. Back in 30 seconds here on WTAD.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table. This is Michael Libman, financial service representative with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls, even with the internet and email. I feel it's important to really get to know you and your family's needs. Otherwise, how will I know what direction you need to take? Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Lipman. He makes house calls.
21-0, QND leads Monmouth Roseville with 8:27 left to go in the third quarter. I don't know why, but I kept flipping those numbers on the time. I couldn't get in my head that there was actually 8.5 and not 7.5 minutes left to go. But that was big, Kyle, to go 72 yards and get a touchdown on the board, make it a 3-score game. And not that you can just say, okay, this game's over, but gives the Raiders a little bit of breathing room here.
Yeah, it does. And certainly Titans have found the yards to be pretty hard to come by here tonight. Doing a nice job from QND defensively, and they'll try to keep that 0 on the scoreboard.
D. Coleman takes the kick from Cooper Reese at the 11, tries to bounce it to the sideline, hesitates, and that will be guided out of bounds by the Raider cover team, and they're going to mark Coleman out at about the 29-yard line. So about an 18-yard return for D. Coleman. That was the most polite kick return I think you'll see in football.
Yeah, that was. He wasn't interested there in getting taken down real hard. L.B. Cornwell, among others, kind of forcing him out of bounds, and he was not interested in picking up the extra yards there.
He made one move on 4 Raiders, realized that didn't work, and he just kind of went, you know what, I'm not going to get pounded. I'm just going to kind of slowly trot out of bounds, and the Raiders just let him. On 1st and 10, Wesley Burris fumbles the handoff, and Austin Tappy's on it for the Raiders. QNE will take over at the Titans' 30-yard line. 1st and 10 going the other way as Wesley Burris took the handoff from Josh Weber and got hit just as he took the handoff, and the Raiders recover.
Yeah, I think it was Caleb Hines was the one that got to Burris and helped force the fumble. I don't know if it caught Burris a little bit off guard that he was getting tackled that quickly. So nice job by QND forcing the fumble, and they're going to try to go 4 scores here. The ball on the 30-yard line.
So see if the Raiders, who have an interception in this ball game but did not turn that into points, see if they can turn this fumble recovery with a 30-yard field to work with into points. Out of the power I, they will bring Kinsel in motion towards the near sideline. Ball on the near hash, and the Raiders will run the counter to Anders. Wow. He's got 5. He cuts it inside. He's got 10. Inside the 15, inside the 10, inside the 5. Tackled down at the goal line by Charles Bertelson. And he's in for the touchdown. Bertelson hit him right inside the 1. I thought they were going to mark him down just at the 1-foot line, but Anders is able to get into the end zone for a 30-yard touchdown, and QND goes up 27-0.
Wow, what a turnaround there for QND. Go up by 3 touchdowns there. I think it was the 8:27 mark you said here. Only 20 seconds later, a fumble and a touchdown run later, and QND up 27 zip with the extra point pending.
Ben Nord will attempt the extra point out of the hold of Landon Hemming. Snap back, ball down. Kick is up, and it's blocked, and it's no good. So QND now leads it with 8:07 left to go in the third quarter. Your new score is QND 27 and Monmouth Roseville nothing. Back in 30 seconds here on WTA.
A loved one passes on, and for a moment, time seems to stand still.
My husband was my whole world. We spent so much time together.
Making funeral arrangements is never easy. We can help you create a ceremony with sensitivity, compassion, and respect. Hanson Spear Funeral Home, celebrating a life well lived.
On Talk Radio, 930 WTAD.
QND leading Monmouth Roseville 27-0 here. 8:07 left to go in the third quarter. And Kyle, the way the second half has started kind of reminds me of the West Hancock game, where West Hancock looked like they were getting back into the ball game. First they fumble after a QND block punt, and West Hancock took over with a short field and fumble on the first play. Then the first play of the second half, West Hancock fumbled that game. And that's what happened to Monmouth Roseville here. They fumble on the first play of the second half offensively. Now a short kick is picked up by one of the up men, and he is outside the 40-yard line at about the 42.
And as much as we kind of picked on D. Coleman there a little bit for running out of bounds there on the last kickoff return,
Cody Stokes
had different ideas.
Cody Stokes, who plays nose tackle on defense, he took that short kick and just was looking for somebody in white and blue to run into.
He was.
First and 10, Monmouth Roseville. Good field position to start this drive. Their own 42. But the Titans now trail the Raiders by a score of 27-0. Josh Weber takes the snap, double fake, still has it. Under some pressure, throws off his back foot, and it's tipped in the air and incomplete as Brian Copley was trying to make the catch, but Logan Arns got in his way. So the pass falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Titans from their own 42.
Yeah, good coverage again downfield. That time they sent 3 different guys deep. Copley covering there on a post route, able to tip it back up in the air, and it looked like for a second Raiders might come up with another turnover, but the ball falls to the ground, and but good coverage there by Copley.
Weber takes the snap, fires it out, and it's complete to Tucker Shepard for a moment, but then he dropped it. He tried to make the catch and turn upfield, and he forgot the catch part of it. He did everything else, but he forgot the catch, and it's incomplete in 3rd and 10.
Well, Luke Frieden and Brian Copley there on the coverage. Frieden actually caught a break there a little bit. He broke on the ball real well, but the ball was kind of lofted up over his head. Had the ball been thrown on a line, he probably would have intercepted it, but as it was some air under the ball, kind of floated over his head. but fell to the ground incomplete.
Now on 3rd and 10 from their own 42, Weber will give it inside to Bertelsen. He's got 5, and an ankle tackle prevents Charlie Bertelsen from getting the first down as Luke Frieden makes the tackle of Bertelsen down around his ankles. Looked like Bertelsen was just hitting his top speed, Kyle, and Frieden was able to wrap him up and throw him down short of the first down marker. Now, quickly, Roseville will go for the first down, and now the Raiders jump in the neutral zone, and they will give Monmouth Roseville the first down. After a 6-yard gain by Bertelsen, now the Raiders with a cheap 5-yard penalty will give Monmouth Roseville a first down inside Raider territory.
Yeah, I think they're going to, not by much, but I think you're right. I think it is going to.
Only a 3rd penalty on the Raiders for 20 yards.
That time the Raiders, they're switching defenses out there a little bit. I'm not sure if that threw them off or not, but Hilgenbrink was checking on, the defensive back was checking out, and kind of like a last-minute sub there.
Well, Monmouth Roseville went up-tempo, so the Raiders were lucky to get that sub into the game. Weber takes a snap, 4-step drop, now tries to fire outside, and he's got a man out there, and it's dropped by D. Coleman. Coleman got a step on the defender, and it looked like the pass was going to hit him in full stride. He, again, different player, but again, the same thing happens, Kyle. Monmouth Roseville forgot the catch part of the play.
Yeah, it had Copley beat there by a step. Good coverage there by Peters. Had Coleman come down with it, I think Peters either could have knocked it loose or certainly would have brought him down. Had a nice hit, though, after the play there. So pretty decent coverage there from a safety, but you're right. That's probably one Coleman could come down with.
On 2nd and 10 from the Raider 48. They will pitch it wide to Bertelsen, and he will be pushed out of bounds by the Raiders after maybe a short gain of about a yard. Depends on where they spot the ball.
Blake Hilgenbrink coming from his middle linebacker position there, so good to see him showing a little bit of speed there and running down the play on the sideline, albeit didn't look like he was 100% sure there in his ankle.
Virtually no gain on the play for Bertelsen will bring up 3rd and 10 for Monmouth Roseville from the Raider 48-yard line, QD leading 27-0. Weber takes the snap, double fake inside give to Shepard, and he will be short of the first down. He gets to the Raider 43. And again, a good backside pursuit by the Raider linebackers, Kyle, as they were able to get to the ball carrier just before he could bounce it to the outside. Shepard picked up 4, close to 5. It's going to be 4th and almost 6 for Monmouth Roseville.
That's kind of been their go-to play this whole night, really, that kind of that inside give there with everyone thinking going right, they come back to the left.
Weber takes the snap, drops straight back, fires, and complete in the middle of the field for Monmouth Roseville on a first down. Inside the Raider 25 to about the 24. And making the catch for Roseville was?
It was Rogers.
James Rogers makes the catch. And that's a pickup of about 19 yards from the Raider 43 to the Raider 24. And it's 1st and 10, Monmouth Roseville.
Well, what they were just going for there is throwing one of the running backs into the flat. Weber kind of gives it a little bit of a pump fake. A couple of linebackers jump to that flat and opens up the seam route there for Rogers. And, after that pump fake kind of left him wide open. So nice pitch and catch there after the fake.
1st and 10, Monmouth Roseville from the Raider 24. Weber drops straight the pass, throws it up to the Landon Peters, who tipped it in the air. Had a wide open area to make the interception, and I think he lost that in the lights, Kyle, by the way he reacted, but that should have been a sure interception in the end zone. It just bounced off his helmet out of bounds.
Yeah, he's going to kick himself for that one. That one, I'm not sure if he lost it in the lights or if he just thought, sure thing, he had this, but that ball just kind of bounces right off his hands, and Weber, the quarterback for the Titans, catches a break, and Monmouth catches a break to keep this drive alive. That should have been a turnover.
2nd and 10 for the Titans from the Raider 24-yard line. CUNY leading 27-0. We're in the 3rd quarter. Josh Weber, the quarterback, sends Shepard in motion. Now an inside give to Shepard, and at a full head of speed, he's going to take it to the house. Tucker Shepard from 24 yards out, and that was just a thing of beauty, Kyle. That was timed perfectly, and Shepard took that handoff at full speed, found a crease, and just took it to the house.
Yeah, it kind of took an extra second to even seem to develop in the backfield there. Weber was kind of holding that ball out for Shepard there for maybe a half second longer than you'd expect, but Shepard took it. Nice hole up the middle. Made a couple moves there as he got into the secondary of QND and untouched into the end zone. So Titans respond with a nice drive of their own to try to claw their way back into this ball game.
And the Titans go for 2. Josh Weber sends a man in motion. That's Bertelsen. Weber takes a snap, looking right the whole way, fires, and it's complete, but I think it's short. No, it's incomplete, as Bertelsen was outside the goal line and tried to come back for the pass behind him, and the ball hit the ground incomplete. So we've had 3 touchdowns here in 2.5 minutes. QNE scores 2 of those. The Titans just get on the board with Shepard taking it in from 24 yards out. Our new score is QNE 27, Monmouth Roseville 6. And I guess it was important for QNE to get on the board, especially that first time, Kyle. That second time was kind of a bonus after the Titans fumble, but you see how important that is now after Monmouth Roseville goes 58 yards on an offensive possession and gets a 24-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, showing a little bit of a spark there, doing a nice job there offensively. Got a 4th down conversion on a penalty, got another 4th down conversion there on a nice seam route to Rogers. So, doing some different things, spreading the ball around a little bit, and, sharp-looking drive there from the Titans.
So 27-6 our score, and we still have 6 minutes left to go in this third quarter. 2 touchdowns in the first 24 minutes, 3 touchdowns in the first 6 minutes of the second half. Boy, these coaches are geniuses with their halftime discussion.
Yes.
So QNE will get the ball for the 3rd time here in the second half. They've scored the first 2 times they've touched it. One a 72-yard drive, and the other a one-play 30-yard drive. Now the onside kick by Roseville, and it will be recovered by the Raiders at about the 42-yard line. And Carson Kroshinski makes the onside recovery. So QNE will start at their own 42, leading 27-6.
Well, time for QNE here to kind of settle down. Certainly, obviously still in control of this ball game with a 3-touchdown lead. So let's see if they can put together another drive here and get this clock moving and kind of reestablish that ground game again.
Power I for the Raiders. Ball in the near hash. Single receiver near side. Turn, give to Quincy, and he's bottled up at the line of scrimmage. Almost lost the ball after the 3rd hit. He sustained around the shoulder pads, but he was able to recover. No gain on the play, maybe even a loss of a half foot. It's going to be 2nd and virtually 10 for QND.
Aside from Rockford Lutheran, this Titans defense is probably as physical and hits as hard as any that QND has seen this whole year besides Lutheran. I mean, you see Quincy on that one, just took a couple big licks from 2 or 3 different linebackers. So they're really getting after it.
Power I, near hash is the ball. Single receiver far side. Now Quincy comes in motion towards the near side. They pitch it wide to Anders going right. He's got 5. He's got 10. He's got the first down and more. Bounces off a tackle and takes a man for a ride down to the Titans' 41-yard line. No, make it the 42. That's a gain of 15 and a 1st and 10 for QND.
That time I think it was Arns there do a nice job in the lead block there. Got a nice shoulder on Weber coming from the linebacker spot. So Arns, again, we've seen those guys, those fullbacks do a terrific job lead blocking on the sweeps. To me, it's one of the hardest blocks you see a linebacker have to make because he doesn't know exactly where the tailback's going to go, and everyone's kind of running away from him. But a nice job there again from Arns getting wide.
1st and 10 Raiders from the Titans 42. Quincy comes in motion again towards the near side. Ball in the far hash. Give it to Anders right up the middle. He stutters and now powers his way forward. Boy, he got hit, kind of looked like he was going to be held up, and they let the play go, and Anders was able to keep his legs driving and take the pile for an extra couple of yards. Picks up about 4 on the play. Gain of 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Raiders from the Titans 38.
Yeah, we've seen that from Anders a couple times this year. We certainly talked the most about Quincy keeping the pile moving, but Anders has done a nice job with that as well, putting on a little bit of strength this offseason. Q&D again struggling here a little bit to get this play call in. And this might require another timeout. Venverlo now back to the huddle.
Anders now with 128 yards on 19 carries, and the Raiders do call a timeout. And that's really 2 timeouts, Kyle, that have been self-inflicted, if you will, by Q&D.
I think so too.
Just trying to get the play sent in. And just some deliberation on what to call, and it's taking an extra couple of seconds for the play to get to the person who's supposed to take the play to the huddle, and that just disconnect is causing some problems here, and the Raiders have already burned 2 timeouts here in the third quarter.
It won't come out to haunt them here. Still Raiders up a 3-touchdown lead. You'd hope hope they won't need to use those later, but who knows? Either way, you certainly want to be real crisp, getting in and out of the huddle, getting Venverlo that play as quick as you can, but that time might have been a change of plans there.
4:10 left to go in the third quarter. QD leading 27-6. Raiders have scored both times they've touched the ball in the second half. Monmouth Roseville fumbled on their first play of the second half to give the Raiders a 30-yard field to work with, and Anders only needed 1 play to take it 30 yards to the house. And then Roseville went 58 yards on their second possession for their only touchdown of the game. So 27-6 our score. QNE has burned 2 timeouts here in the second half, trying to call some offensive plays. And that first timeout worked out because they had the pass completion to Orange to get the first down, correct?
That's right. And they got to the flat here. Orange took it down inside the 10-yard line, and then Kensel finished the drive.
So out of the power eye after the Raider timeout. Vanderlo takes the snap. He tries to float one down the middle for Tappy and overshoots him, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 7 for the Raiders.
Time Raiders go to a double tight there. Both Tappy and Welper in the game at tight end positions. They tried the fake sweep play, trying to get the linebackers and the safety of the Titans to flow with the fake sweep and then hit one of the tight ends up the seam. And that time, pretty decent coverage, and the ball overthrown a little bit.
2 out of 6 is Max Bemberlo for 36 yards. And the Raiders now have a 3rd and 7. And Kyle, what that pass play tells me is the Raiders are going to go 4-down territory here if they can't get the first down here on 3rd and 7. Power eye. Now Kinsel comes in motion towards the near sideline. Ball on the far hash. And they run the counter play to Anders. He's hit from behind. He slips out of that tackle, lowers his shoulder, and is very close to the first down. It looks like the far side linesman's going to mark him just short. And it's going to be 4th and inches for QND, and that wasn't exactly the best spot we've seen. They mark the ball between the 32 and 31-yard lines, and the Raiders need the 31 for the first down.
They've gone to the counter play there a few times here in the second half. That time it was Halter again doing a nice job opening up the hole back to the inside there for Anders. Sometimes he'll want to hang out there and try to kick that ball back outside, but Halter pushes his man outside. Anders cranks it up and gets inside to set up this 4th and short.
4th and probably about a little less than 6 inches for the Raiders. Kinsel comes in motion towards the near side, and they're going to run it wide on 4th and inches. Anders has the first down and more, and they're going to throw a blocking penalty on Parker Kinsel. Anders is going to take it down near the goal line, but this play is coming back as the flag is about the 33-yard line. There's 2 flags on the play, so this is definitely a blocking infraction on QND. And interesting, Kyle, that the Raiders have 4th and inches, and instead of going up the middle, they run a play wide and get called for holding on the play.
Well, we've seen them. We've seen, sometimes those defensive tackles kind of pinch inside. The Titans have come on a couple of run blitzes there to the inside, so trying to throw a different wrinkle at him, and it worked pretty well. But the holding penalty is going to negate that. Poor Dalen Anders works hard and gets all the way down to about the 1-foot line. He's pretty excited, and none of his teammates are quite as excited as he was because there was a flag, and they all knew it was going to come back.
So what was probably going to be a 1st and goal situation for QND is now 4th and about 12 from the Titans' 43-yard line. And the Raider offense stays on the field. Power eye, single receiver near side is L.B. Cornwell. Now the Raiders changing things up as they yell instructions to Max Bemberlo, and I think what they may do here is just take the 5-yard penalty and punt the ball away.
I think so too.
Or are they going to burn their 3rd and final timeout? Coach Cannell's basically on the field over there by the hash marks. So what do they do here? They take the penalty or get the timeout called?
Okay, they're going to call a timeout.
No, they called the penalty. Okay, so the 5-yard penalty on QND will force the Raiders to punt it away. So the holding penalty negates a 4th and inches conversion, and now the Raiders have to punt it away. If the holding penalty not called, the Raiders have 1st and goal, but now they will be forced to punt it away to Monmouth Roseville. Raiders have punted once here this evening. They've tried a fake punt, which gained nothing. Carson von der Heide will punt it away for the Raiders. Snapback is true. Takes his time, gets a short, low kick away. That would, again, bounce forward inside the 20, down to around the 16-yard line, and it's touchdown by Ronnie Hinkamper. So 1st and 10 Monmouth Roseville, but they hold on defense, Kyle, and keep the Raiders out of the end zone. We still have a 27-6 score.
Yeah, big play, to say the least. The Raiders could be trying to go up 34-6 if that play not been called back, but holding penalty forces the Raiders to punt. So kind of a big turn of events. Hopefully won't turn out to be too big, but it certainly helps keep the Titans in the ball game.
2:20 left to go, 3rd quarter. 27-6 CUNY leads from their 16-yard line. The handoff goes to Tucker Shepard, I believe. And it was Tucker Shepard, and he takes it from the 16 to about the 19. It's a 3-yard gain for Tucker Shepard, 2nd and 7 for the Titans. Shepard now with 39 yards on 6 carries. Ball on the near hash on 2nd and 7. Give up the middle.
Nice.
And a good hit by the Raiders right after the handoff was received. Gain of 2 on the play for Monmouth Roseville. and that was Tommy Simpson on the carry. Only his second touch of the ball game. He picks up 2 to the 21-yard line, and it's going to bring up third and about close to 5. Third and a short 5 for the Titans from just outside their own 20-yard line. And again, Q&E leading 27-6.
I think it was Turpin there on that last play, that second down play, able to get to the carry right away.
Man goes in motion, and they fake, and Weber's going to keep it. And he gets pounded right at the 25-yard line, which is just short of the first down. They give him over the 25. I didn't think he got the ball that far, Kyle.
Yeah.
They gave him a very generous spot.
He's all the way to the 26.
And they're giving him the first down.
Wow.
Well, I agree with you. I didn't think there was any way that Weber got the 5 yards he needed for the first down there, but they gave it to him. So 1st and 10 for Monmouth Roseville at their own 26-yard line. 8th first down of the game for Monmouth Roseville. They've gotten 2 on penalties by the Raiders. Weber under center. Sends Shepard in motion. Weber drops straight back to pass. Fires the quick release and overshoots D. Coleman, incomplete. Coleman had gotten a step on the corner. The safety was frantically trying to get over there, and the pass was overshot, incomplete.
That can be a frantic feeling, trying to chase down a guy that fast.
You would know better than I.
I would.
Not that it ever happened to you,
well,
at least not very
I
often.
emphasize the word trying to get over in time. That's what it felt like in my day.
Running in sand, were you?
Yeah, there he goes.
I got a good look at his afterburns.
Yeah.
2nd and 10 for Monmouth Roseville from their own 26. Weber under center, takes the snap. 3-step drop, quickly flips it out here to Bertelson, who's hit by Cornwell and Frieden. And Bertelson will get about 7 on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and short for Monmouth Roseville. Looks like they're going to give Bertelson the 33. So a gain of 7, and Monmouth Roseville's already at the line of scrimmage. And now the Raiders jump off sides again, and it's another free first down for Monmouth Roseville.
Several times tonight.
Well, you know what's interesting, Kyle? Have you been watching Josh Weber as he gets under center? It seems like he's staring right at the rear end of the center. He's not looking at the defense at all. He's just staring straight down. Watch his head here.
Yeah.
Takes the snap, gives it to Simpson. And he's hit by Frieden, but is able to turn off that hit and fall forward to almost the 44-yard line for a gain of about 5, 2nd and 5 for Monmouth Roseville.
No, you're right. I noticed that earlier. I don't know if that's to help him completely focus on ball security when he gets it.
And it's a definite head bob as he's calling out the signals as well. Here's another handoff to Simpson, and he's going to be short of the first down by about a yard. Raiders came up with the ball at the end of the play, but no fumble is whistled. So it's going to be 3rd and 1 for Monmouth Roseville when we start the 4th and final quarter. Gain of 4 for Simpson, 3rd and 1 for the Titans when we come back in 1 minute. Raiders lead at 27-6 here on WTAD and Quincy.
It's coming to Quincy, and it's a game changer. Fiber is the fastest technology available, and Adams is bringing fiber to the home. Nothing else compares to fiber, and Adams will be connecting Quincy neighborhoods to this lightning-fast internet and telephone service with no gimmick pricing and local service. Find out how your neighborhood can become a fiberhood. Just take the quick survey at followthefiber.net. Adams, the better and now faster way to connect.
Your State Farm agent, Charles Schultz, can help get you to a better state. From cost to coverage, Charles can develop a plan just for you.
This is Charles Schultz. Call me at 224-6665 or drop by my office next to County Market at 48th and Broadway, and together we'll review your insurance needs.
My name is Chuck Bruggle, and I'm running to be your Adams County Clerk and Recorder. I've managed Central State Bank for 13 years, which has given me the necessary knowledge to run the clerk's office efficiently. As a qualified and dedicated professional, I will bring professionalism back to the office. And with my integrity and financial business experience, I will improve the overall efficiency of the office, resolve the repeat audit violations from the office,
8 minutes left to go in this ball game. QNE leading Monmouth Roseville 27-6. And after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Titans sideline, it's now 4th and 17. And it will be at least a punt formation for Monmouth Roseville. As Kyle mentioned before the commercial break, they favor the rugby punt here. Do the Titans. D. Coleman will punt the ball away, and he hasn't exactly been booming punts over the yard here tonight.
Which is probably why they do rugby style to begin with, if you don't got a real natural punter on the team.
Here's the snap, and it's slow and wobbly, and this time it's just a straight punt by Coleman, and it's very short, and it will barely creep over the 50-yard line, but he gets about a 5-yard roll to the Raider 46, so about a 23-yard punt for D. Coleman, and it will be 1st and 10 Raiders, leading 27-6, just under 8 minutes to play here in the ballgame. And I would like to see the Raiders go 54 yards here, Kyle, in about 6 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to kind of put an exclamation point on this conference schedule and get a big win, start packing our bags for Florida.
1st and 10 QND, ball on the near hash at their own 46. Power icing receiver far side, Jordan Obert. And Vanderbilt will turn, give it to Anders. He will go around the corner. He's got 5, he's got 10, he's got a full head of steam. He's got one man to beat. He takes it to the middle of the field. He's at the 20-15 and tackled from behind by D. Coleman. And Anders is inside the 10 at about the 8-yard line. And that's a nice, tidy 46-yard pickup.
Yeah, nice awareness there from Dalen Anders. Got to the numbers on the far side. Realized he had one man to beat, happened to be the fastest guy on the field for the Titans. But knew where his defender was. He started running all the way across the field because that's the angle, the only chance Coleman had to catch him. So he starts turning back to his right there, and then Coleman eventually chased him down. But a lot of speed there, Coleman chasing after Anders.
Anders now with 205 yards rushing in the ballgame. Give it to Kinsel. Right up the gut. He bounces off 2 men and takes it to the goal line and scores.
All right.
So Parker Kinsel scores the touchdown from 8 yards out. Well, they didn't go 6 minutes, Kyle, but they got 6 points on the board quickly.
Yeah, and they did real quickly there. Big play from Anders to open things up. Kinsel finishes the 2-play drive, and kind of the wheels came off there a little bit. The Titans, after that penalty, after that 3rd down stop, and then the penalty, and then the bad punt. Well, I shouldn't say bad punt. Not exactly a moving punt. Yeah, not exactly a moving punt. Anyway, certainly then just a few plays later here, Raiders back in the end zone.
Ben Nord will attempt the extra point, and the kick is up, and it is good, I assume. The one linesman didn't make a signal, so I'm assuming the kick was good. And QNE leads at 34-6, and no, it wasn't good. It was wide right, apparently. So it's 33-6, QNE leads it with about 7:12 left to go in the ballgame. We'll take a 30-second break, come back with more here on WTAD and QuincyJournal.com.
WTAD.
Well, first of all, folks, the extra point was good by Ben Nord. So it's a 34-6 QNE lead with 7:12 left to go in this contest. Tim and Kyle with you from Monmouth, Illinois. Sunnydale Stadium on Sunnydale Lane. A cool, crisp fall evening. And Cooper Reese will get the ball restarted here. And he goes with a deep kick that will go to the right up man at about the 5-yard line. That's Tucker Shepard, I believe. And it is Shepard who takes it to about the 27, 28-yard line. Some extra pushing and shoving, but no flags thrown, I don't believe. So it's 1st and 10 Monmouth Roseville from their own 28-yard line.
Starting to get a little bit chippy out there in certain parts, it seems. It's about a half a quarter to go, and these two physical teams kind of beating on each other quite a bit.
Well, I think there's still some anger issues with the folks from Monmouth Roseville about that hit on Burris. That was, well, I don't know if it was actually a hit, but the play where Burris was stopped and the referees were slow to blow their whistle, and then Burris hit the ground, his helmet popped off, and his head hit the ground without his helmet on him. So On 1st and 10, and Weber's going to throw the ball. Looks over the middle of the field, fires, and it's incomplete as Landon Peters went for the hit, not for the ball. And did they throw a flag on Peters?
Yeah, they threw a flag. I assume it's going to be on Peters. He didn't actually make much contact with the would-be receiver,
who was D. Coleman. So, incomplete pass, but if Peters is playing the ball there, Kyle, he probably has an interception.
Yep,
but he was so focused on number 3 that he went after the receiver, and the ball was apparently past him when Peters made the hit. So a penalty on Landon Peters, 15-yarder, will give Monmouth Roseville a 1st and 10 at their own 44-yard line. 5th penalty of the game on the Raiders for 40 yards. And the 4th penalty tonight, or 4th first down tonight for Monmouth Roseville on QND penalties. They have 11 overall, as I have it. So 1st and 10 Monmouth Roseville. Ball close to the 44 of the Titans. Weber will run the option. Keep it, fake out the defensive end, and then get planted by Luke Frieden. Weber made a nice head and shoulder fake on the defensive end, cut it inside. Now a flag flies, and it looks like one of the Raiders is going to get called for penalty for some sort of language infraction.
Well, the Titans off to a big start on this drive with 30 yards and penalties.
So after a big hit by Luke Frieden, apparently one of his Raider teammates was pretty excited about it and used language you shouldn't use on the football field, according to the umpire, and he immediately threw the flag and turned and looked at the Raider defensive player. And that's another penalty for a first down by the QND defense. That's 5 tonight. And Monmouth Roseville has 12 first downs on the game, and now the ball is inside the Raider 40 at the 39, 1st and 10 Titans. Weber looks to the sideline for the play call. Double wing this time. Single back is Simpson. Weber takes the snap. 3-step drop. Fires it out here in the flat to Bertelsen. Bertelsen will be corralled by Frieden at about the 31, 32-yard line. Gain of about 7, and what do we have now? Oh, penalty flag. Is this going to be a face mask on QND?
Yeah. Judging by the timing and location of the penalty.
5-yard penalty for a face mask. So a pickup of 8 on the play, and then a 5-yard penalty gives another first down to Monmouth Roseville. That's their 6th via the penalty here tonight. And 35 yards of this drive have come from QND defensive penalties.
That was the first play that actually ran successfully on this drive.
Ball now at the Raider 26, 1st and 10. Give it to Shepard, and he bounces off a couple of Raiders and picks up about 2. To about the 24. So it's 2nd and 8 for Monmouth Roseville from the QND 24. Raiders lead at 34-6.
I made the comment there a few plays ago. Things were starting to get a little chippy. I didn't know how right I'd end up being.
And now the Raiders give them 5 more yards as Monmouth Roseville ran the old 2-point to 3-point stance. So these penalties are coming so fast and furious, I'm forgetting to write them down. But that is now 8 penalties on QND for 65 yards. We have met the enemy, and it is us, if you're a QND defensive fan. 2nd and now 2 after that 5-yard walk-off. Now Weber throws it out here in the flat to Bertelsen, who will be hit by Ben Werfer and
Tappy.
Taken down. Austin Tappy, 33-99.
Doing a nice job. He saw the running back kind of fly across his face there, trying to get into the flat. Tappy was rushing the passer, but read the receiver, left his blocker, and got out wide.
Loss of 6 on the play will bring up 3rd and 8 for Monmouth Roseville from their own from the QND 24-yard line. Weber calls out the play to his offense. Simpson will be the running back behind him. Shepard is wing left. Now Shepard goes in motion, and they give it to Shepard on that play. They scored on Tappy with a big hit, but Shepard bounced off that hit and then got tackled by 2 more Raiders. Frieden in on the play, as well as
it was Tappy with the initial big hit. He just wasn't able to wrap up.
Asher Hines also helped Frieden cover up Shepard on the play, so a gain of about 2 for Tucker Shepard. Now it's 4th and about 5 for Monmouth Roseville. Ball at about the 22. They need the 17 for the first down. Single back is Simpson. Wingman comes in motion. That's Bertelson. Weber takes the snap, floats it out here to Bertelson in the flat. He makes the catch, turns, and has the first down. Took it down to the 14-yard line. That's a gain of about 7 on the play, but more than enough for a first down for Monmouth Roseville. As they take it, actually it's a gain of 9 on the play as they take it down to the Raider 14-yard line.
The Raiders have covered that flat pattern all night with the linebacker, and Weber does a nice job. He doesn't put a ton of zip on it, but does a nice job getting it all the way wide. So that linebacker, that time Frieden, really has to come from all the way from the inside to try to cover it.
Now Weber drops straight back to pass, fires over the middle, and it's complete for a touchdown to D. Coleman, who got behind Carson Vanderheide. 3:58 left to go in the game, and Monmouth Roseville has their second touchdown.
That might have been Weber's best pass of the night.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That was a lot of zip there. Right up the seam, did a nice job hitting the receiver in stride, and kind of a very odd drive, one very much aiding penalties that ends with a Titan touchdown.
Yeah, what about 40 yards in penalties there by the QND defense? Now the 2-point play by Roseville. Weber fires it to the near sideline and incomplete on the pass play. So Monmouth Roseville has scored twice, but they're 0 for 2 on on 2-point conversion. So our new score is QND 34, Monmouth Roseville 12. Back in 30 seconds here.
Around here, people matter, and relationships are built on trust. That's the way it is at Town & Country Bank. Real people who like things simple, honest, and done right. And our roots are right here, so we're truly local. If you already do business with us, then you know how good banking can be. And if you're not, well, maybe you should. Town & Country Bank. You'll like how we do business.
Part of the HNB Bank family.
Federated Insurance is a lot like the family businesses we help protect. For 105 years and counting, Federated has shared the common values that have served our clients well. Federated Insurance, it's our business to protect yours.
Call Tony Reese in Quincy at 223-4623.
I would have to think, Kyle, they'll do it again.
Yeah, I think so. It's only 4 minutes left to go in the ball game. I don't know if it'll be to much avail, even if it does work out, but
hey,
I guess you got to keep fighting.
Got to shoot all the ammo you brought with you, right? Or something to that effect. And instead they go with the low line drive kick that Anders will pick up at about his own 21-yard line. Stutters, tries to bounce it to the outside and will be brought down at about the 34, 35-yard line. Looks like they're going to mark him right at the 35, so about a 13-yard return for Dalen Anders. It'll be 1st and 10 for QND from their own 35. 34-12, the Raiders lead it. And Kyle, on that drive with all the penalties on QND and the first downs given to Monmouth Roseville, QND has 17 first downs in this ball game. I have Monmouth Roseville for 15.
Okay.
And there for a while it was like 14-5 in first downs,
right,
QND
sure.
leading.
Sure, and then QND countered with the 2-play drive and then of course, to your point, this pass drive of the Titans with several first downs by a penalty.
Out of the power, eyeball on the far hash at the Raider 35. Kinsel goes in motion to the far side. They give it to Ben Nord. He stumbles a bit, keeps his feet, and he gets tackled at about the 39-yard line. Frank Jacobson covered up the tackle. Down low, I believe it was Tucker Shepard. It was the combination of Shepard and Jacobson. So gain of about 3.5 for Ben Nord, and I think a good decision here, Kyle, to get Anders out of this game the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, I think so too. Certainly been the workhorse all season for QND offensively, and anytime you give him a nice breather is a good time. Of course, Nord's coming off a nice game last week at tailback. Had a big touchdown run on senior night. Homecoming week as well for the Raiders last week.
2nd and about 6. Give it to Kinsel right up the gut. He lowers his shoulder and tries to power his way through a couple of Titans. Gets it over the 40 to about the 41. It's going to bring up 3rd and 4 for QND from their own 41-yard line. Again, QND leading at 34-12.
Under 3 minutes now and in ticking here for QND. So I think this chippiness is inflated here this last quarter. I think QND would love to have the ball as time expired here and get this clock to keep running.
Well, I think that's another reason you're seeing Dalen Anders on the sideline.
Yeah, good point.
Raiders still have work to do in this football season. No need to get Anders beaten up when the Raiders are up 3 scores. Raiders will run it wide to Nord. Looks like he'll get the first down. He's got 5. He's got 10. He's inside Titan territory, brought down at about the 47-yard line. Of course, I say that before checking for laundry. But it looks like the play will stand. And they're going to give Nord the 46. So that's a gain of 14 on the play and another first down for QND. Nord took that pitch, Kyle, and his second step was a stumble, but he was able to regain his balance, and Raiders did a good enough job blocking that Nord was able to pick up 14 on the play.
Yeah, the Raiders, the way they've run the sweep this year, Max Venber was really looking to get the running back the ball just as quick as he can. Sometimes you see it a little bit more gradual.
Here's Arns on a carry. He steps through his one tackle, but can't elude the ankle tackle of Tucker Shepard. Arns will take it down to about the 40 of the Titans. That's a pickup of 6 and brings up 2nd and 4 for QND. Only the 4th touch of the game for Arns. He has 9 yards. Kinsel has 80 yards on 10 carries, and Anders has 205 yards on 24 carries.
Of course, certainly one of Arns' big contributions tonight offensively is catching that ball in the flat on the third down play to help set up a touchdown in the third quarter.
So 2nd and 4 for QND from the Monmouth Roseville 40-yard line. Power I, turn, give it to Nord. He tried to bounce it right, but the defense wouldn't let him. Nord ran up the back of the lead blocker, saw the hole to the right, tried to bounce off, but Tommy Simpson wouldn't let him, and they gave Nord no forward progress on that play. So no gain on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 4.
Minute 5, the play blown in with about a minute 5 remaining. So,
wow, really?
Yeah, we're now under a minute. Raiders have to snap this ball. Probably about 40 seconds left in the ball game. So we could be looking at just one more play.
3rd and about 4 for QND from the Monmouth Roseville 40-yard line. Power, icing receiver far side. They pitch it wide to Nord. He has a block, and he'll get the first down and more. Inside the 35, inside the 30, down the far sideline, and shoved out of bounds by Tucker Shepard again. And they will mark Nord out at about the 20-yard line. So a 20-yard run for Nord, and a 1st and 10 for QND. And how much time's on the clock, sir?
37.
So one more play coming for the Raiders, and then that'll do it. Oh, actually, they marked Nord out at the 21, so a gain of 19 on the play. But Nord with 37 yards on 4 touches.
They've got some nice, tailback-wise, certainly Dalen Anders is the workhorse, but we've seen Luke Frieden do a nice job, Nord do a nice job as well. So we talked about the fullbacks and linebackers and the depth that QND has at that position. There's some good options at tailback as well.
Raiders take a knee, and that'll do it for the ball game. QND wins this game 34-12. Raiders have now won 7 in a row. Actually, they're going to have to do it again? How does that happen?
Sure.
Or did they not do it the first time, went back in the huddle, and now they do it? I could have sworn they took the snap and knelt down, but I looked up and they were doing it again. So the Raiders win it 34-12, are now 7-1 in the season, heading to Clearwater, Florida. 1 week for tonight, and if you folks are leaving the broadcast now, that's a 6:30 Central Standard Time kickoff, Central Daylight Time, excuse me. 6:30 kickoff, and we'll have the broadcast for you just after the 6 o'clock news next Friday night. Again, the final is QND 34, Monmouth Roseville 12. Back in a couple minutes, Raider football on WTAD and QuincyJournal.com.